No.
Yeah, no.
I like the way you said Jesus.
To Jesus? Oh, shit.
To gay Jesus.
Oh, my God.
No, Reese, you sent me the... Oh, fuck me.
Al Jazeera.
We're doing Al Jazeera 2 weeks in a row.
Fuck. I hate Al Jazeera.
Do you agree that they're worse than TYT?
I would say content-wise, they're more obvious in their bias, but the fact that they're so obvious makes them less dangerous in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I think Al Jazeera is much more obviously propaganda. TYT is much more insidious. More people watch them and think they have news.
Yeah, I'm watching the news.
Although people in my grade, you know, all the time share Al Jazeera videos because they think it's like a progressive.
Well, it's because they hide it behind it's AJ plus. Oh yeah, I see people do that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I have whiskey for after this. Oh wow.
Yeah, this is about Israel. Of course. Of course. Let's just watch. Let's just watch.
I like how we both said, of course, at the same time.
Of course. Of course.
God! Glorifying terrorists. That's what the Palestinians do.
They literally do that.
Have you heard of Hamas, dumbass?
Well, beyond that, I mean individually, they literally do that. Their I did a video on that myself. They literally will have like whole ceremonies and parades for these guys and martyrs, and they do.
After they kill a Jew, they name a street after them and give candy out in the streets to children. They celebrate. You know, the people I went to camp with, I had a conversation with them recently on the Facebook group, and they literally said I was racist because I was asking a person who they themselves, they were like, oh, you're asking a brown person to condemn Hamas, and then I'm racist. He refused to condemn Hamas. You know what his reasoning was? It's not fair for a white person to ask a brown person to condemn a terrorist organization because he could get deported, because I could deport him. I had the power to deport him.
I say, this is, you know, did they realize this is what's giving rise to white nationalism? Do they realize that's their fault when these kind of things happen?
I'm not sure. I think they like it.
I think because they want the oppressor, and then they can say, look, see, we are being oppressed. It's like, yeah, but you literally spent 10 years punching people until they punched back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... Yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Yeah.
Like the Israelis. At least that's the oft-repeated view of Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu.
They consider murderers to be heroes. They name public squares after them. We don't.
Really, Bibi? Really?
I hate this guy.
Yes, really, by the way. Indeed, really.
This guy, I hate that he's labeled a moderate.
Yeah, he's not.
Horrible. Absolutely
horrible. What about
horrible.
the Oleh Hagadon streets that you can find in several Israeli cities? That's the name given to the group of Jewish fighters executed in the 1940s after waging a campaign of terror and violence against Arabs and the British authorities.
It's a war. What are they fucking talking about? It's a war with two people fighting on both sides. And they're saying these Jews were executed because they massacred people?
Like, it doesn't seem strange for me for a country to honor their war heroes, even if those war heroes are considered terrorists. Of course they're considered terrorists by the other side.
Yeah, it's like what's happening in America right now and in Europe in some cases, where they're saying, oh, well, because this person was a slaver, they cannot have, you know, buildings named after them, or because that war was unjust, or, I mean, it would be like going all the way back and saying the Revolutionary War, which technically we fought as terrorists,
yes,
would be, now we have to condemn all of those people.
Well, you know, if we had lost, Washington's army would be considered terrorists.
They would have been an
won,
uprising.
they're not.
Yeah.
That's right, history. The winners are the losers.
Yep.
And that's what people forget.
It's complicated. You know, I have a book that says something about that. where is it? Oh, it's A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. And the first chapter is dedicated to perspective of, talking about, okay, whose perspective are you supposed to write this from? And it's about, trying to give a fair, balanced. Fox News is
gross.
They've totally destroyed that phrase, fair and balanced. But yeah, I mean, it's you have to try to look at it from both sides. Every situation is unique. That's one of the things. Like you can do historical comparison, but every situation is its own situation.
Sure.
That's one of the things.
No, we can keep watching.
Including the murder of politicians and the bombing of a train station. All of this in the name of creating an independent state and kicking out an occupying power. Sound familiar?
Oh.
The false equivalency is strong with this one.
Well, of course.
Already there. They were being attacked by every single surrounding nation because they didn't want the Jews to have one little tiny state. Israel was meant to be smaller until they decided to go to war with, the Jews, and then they lost the war, and that's just how it works. You could have had a peaceful agreement. You said no. You then, were threatening to basically do another genocide, and then the group that you were threatening won the war.
Not to sound like a complete Bible thumper, but that land does belong to Jews. So I hate the way they try to spin this like, actually, it's the Palestinians, like it was their founding land. Like, no.
No, it wasn't.
That's garbage.
And before it belonged to Jews, it belonged to some other Canaanites. But they're all gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. They've dispersed into other nations, or, they were killed. But it was so obviously the Jews' land, recorded, throughout all of history. And then, the Romans came, they renamed it Syria Palestina to anger us. And it's just so funny that, they talk about how the Jews were, they're the white imperialists, when it was the Romans, the very name that the Palestinians now use was the name given by white, I'm doing quotation marks, white imperialists. So they're using the imperialist name.
According to some, Italians aren't even white. It's amazing.
Listen,
it's amazing how racist humans are.
Listen, there's actually a city in Italy that's the line. Okay? There's literally a city in Italy that's a line.
A line?
A line. It says that north of this city, you can be considered white. South of this city, you're probably not white.
What?
In northern Italy, yeah. It's the hardcore white supremacist groups. They actually have like lines, designated historical lines for whiteness.
That's so weird.
It is.
That's really, honestly, it's so confusing what a race is, what anything is, an ethnicity. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Members of that group included Eliyahu Hakim, who helped assassinate British Minister Lord Moyne and who today has a street named after him in Haifa. And
so shouldn't you guys be happy about that? He killed a British guy.
Yeah. A white privileged man.
Wait, he killed that guy? I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Yes, he did. He killed that guy.
Oh, because the British were trying to, stop the Jews from getting a state that they promised. It's a whole situation. Sorry, moving on.
Shlomo Ben Yosef, hanged by the British for trying to blow up a bus full of Palestinians in 1938, who has streets named after him in both Tel Aviv and Akka. Did I also mention it?
Okay. Again, these are people that are now considered war heroes because they won. That's how that works.
This would be having like, oh, Washington Street. Don't you know how many redcoats he hacked down? It's like,
killed Americans too, I think. He showed up to several. I think he showed up to, a protest. I forget which one.
Sorry, that's inappropriate. Someone in the chat just pointed out his name is literally Shlomo. I honestly, I don't know the entire situation.
I don't trust Al Jazeera, so I don't know whether those were innocent, Palestinians.
No, but I would also like to note that at least these signs are in Arabic too.
Yeah, and English.
Yeah.
But,
you shouldn't trust their research in quotes.
Yeah, I would have, before I make a judgment, I would have to know what they're. I don't trust them.
Yeah, no.
Israel issued postage stamps bearing images of Ole Haggadah. Well, you might say, fine, that was then. No Israelis today would praise or glorify Israeli terrorists, would they? That's a wedding party in Jerusalem.
That was a very, very brief flash. GIF of dancing Jews.
Would they add though that wedding party? Well, they were chanting something about a dead Palestinian, I think. But don't they know that wedding took place, I think, right after a terrorist attack where a woman, her father and brother were just murdered. Like, I think I remember that this happened this year. And that's, I think, when the video was recorded.
Yeah, we could, and the point I would raise is we could find the same equivalent, except far worse on the other side. I could find more instances of Palestinians saying "death to all Israelis."
Oh yes.
Wait a minute.
You can find them telling it to their children.
Yeah,
stab, Yehud.
I agree. People dancing over stabbing outbreak. Exactly.
Yeah.
The chat gets it.
Pretty much.
There's videos of, I think, them dragging Jewish men into the building a while back and mutilating their bodies, pulling their eyes out.
It's fine, they're Jews.
Yeah, who gives a whoever.
They say human.
Yeah.
Celebrating the death of Ali YAFF, the toddler burned to death by Israeli settlers 5 months earlier.
Okay.
Playing the infant card.
Oh, okay. I think I know what. Okay, so what I said was true, but that video came out after, like, they posted that video after the stabbing attack of something else. Never mind. I messed up then.
This guy is so derpy.
Celebrations that included the stabbing of pictures of baby Ali. Seriously? Now you might say, rightly, that's a fringe element of Israeli society, just a bunch of unrepresentative crazies. But hold on, what's this? A wanted poster for Yitzhak Shamir. He was at one point the leader of Lehi, a group deemed terrorists not just by the British, but later banned by the Israeli government too. Shamir was described by the British as one of the most fanatical terrorist leaders and helped plot the assassination of one of the UN's most senior officials. So whatever happened to him?
I always love, again, the issue with Al Jazeera is I would have to sit down, and I've done it before, and I could do it again, and spend hours figuring out what the fuck they're talking about. They give you like 3 seconds of information and jam as much crap in it as humanly possible, and then just say, see, isn't that funny, and move on.
Yeah.
I think a bigger point is, like, we already acknowledged earlier in the stream that Israel has made mistakes.
Exactly, but guess what? They just said, and they gave Israel credit because they said they condemned this man as a terrorist. So it's not like Israel's condoning terrorism there.
Well, what the fuck do they want then? There's going to be terrorists and criminals within any country.
Yeah. I don't know. They want Israel to be held to a higher standard.
Yep. Exactly.
They're the oppressors.
Yeah.
He became
I think
Israel.
actually, Hagbard, I think we can move on if you want. Yeah, fuck Al Jazeera.